Alright guys, wanted to quickly dive into the 7x7 sales strategy that you can use for your prospecting that will help you increase your sales rates. It's basically done through multiple touch points where you make contact with the prospect, with the lead, so that you can kind of gain more awareness at the same time get in contact with them, because usually the first attempt as a cold email or a cold call doesn't really end the deal. And prospecting is a strategy, more of an investment towards the final sales goal. So this is brought to you by growthok.com. If you're looking for highly qualified and targeted sales leads, along with any type of custom data points or parameters filtering, then reach out to us at growthok.com. So the goal, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, is that to create multiple touch points with the prospect, with the lead, throughout a course of 7 days. The 7x7 sales strategy is a popular strategy that a lot of sales teams are starting to use in modern day sales, especially when you want to kind of just approach your prospect with different touch points. This was probably made popular by SalesLoft, which is a software company in the sales space, and it's just a great way to do a sequence of multiple contacts to reach your prospect. So how it works is that on day one, in the morning, in the AM, you send a short and sweet direct cold email. This video wouldn't be about how to send a cold email. It's just about the strategy in general. So send a really personalized cold email, and then in the PM, give them a call and leave them a voicemail if they don't answer the phone. Of course, if you get them on the call, and then you can kind of pitch them your product, understand their needs, find a solution, and sell them. But if not, then just leave them a voicemail. Let them know that you've tried reaching out to them and that you have gave them attention. So that's the first touch point on day one, and it occurs in the morning and in the PM. On day two, anytime during the day, give them a call, but don't leave a voicemail. The goal here is to see if they'll pick up. If they pick up, that's good. Remember, just proceed on to your normal sales routine, your sales process, and try to close them. But if they don't pick up, you don't need to leave a voicemail. A lot of times, your number will still show up on the caller ID, which is what we want. On day three, in the very morning, when you're first running through your sales drills, you call first thing, but you don't leave a voicemail. Same goal. If they pick up, that's fantastic. If not, don't leave a voicemail and hope it shows up on the call ID. It kind of reminds them that, hey, we're still chatting. On PM, call again. So this is later in the day, probably in the afternoon, but this time leave a voicemail. Let them know that you have tried reaching out to them and that you are persistent, you are a hustler. That's the whole goal of sales, right? Day four, anytime. If they still haven't responded, still haven't proceeded down your pipeline, what you want to do is that you want to send them like a funny email, something like about like a farm animal. For me, what I like to do is I like to send them a little GIF picture of like a rhino, and I'll be like, hey, I'm not as scary as a rhino. Don't run away from me. Humor works great in sales, so it's a great way to get them laughing. And a lot of times, your sales funnel starts right here. They will go on to the next level. They'll schedule a call with you, and they'll be like, hey, I appreciate the humor. Let's move on and let's get in the call. So day 5 and 6, if they still haven't responded and they haven't checked your little funny email, just don't do nothing. Just wait, and possibly it could be because it's near the end of the week and they have a busy schedule, or they just haven't had time to come around. Give them a couple free days. Don't overdo it. Leave day 5 and 6. Do nothing. So on to day 7, our last day. If they still haven't responded to your funny email, they still haven't got back to your call and your voicemails, send another email, but this time send a breakup email. And a breakup email just works so well. Is where you go like, hey, I understand that we might not be a good fit, but we would still love to work together in the future. I'll stop bothering you. And a lot of times you'd be surprised, about 25% of the time people actually respond to this email and say, hey, I was just super busy. I'm sorry I left you off guard. How about we chat next week? That's what you want. That's the whole point of the breakup email. So this is a 7x7 sales strategy. It works really well. A lot of teams are starting to use this, creates multiple touch points. And if you want, even after day 7, like a month later, follow up with them again. Be like, hey, I'm just circling around to see if I can offer some more help. So end the conversation and wait for the lead to respond. Um, Again, this is Wilson from Growth OK. So if you're looking for qualified and targeted sales leads with any type of custom data, to accelerate your sales, and so you don't have to spend so much time and resource, then check out growth4k.com.